Hello and welcome to the MassMotion version 8 tutorials. In this tutorial we'll take a look at the analysis functionality within MassMotion, which allows us to take a look at a simulation run and extract valuable data. There are several different types of analysis which can be performed using the Simulation and Analysis tab in the ribbon. In order to take a look at a couple of these briefly, we will have a look at our previous Transit Hub example. Opening the Transit Hub example, we see the same scene that we've seen in previous tutorials, which includes several neighbourhood portals, a bus interchange, and a train station. There are several ways we can analyse this scene to gain a deeper understanding of what's going on. Under the Simulation and Analysis tab, we can create objects such as cordons and regions, which allow counts of people across a line or within an area. We can also use a system called the agent filter. This object will allow us to create a modifier that allows us to look at a subset of the population in great detail. If we create one of these, we see that the default filter is for all agents. We want to create something that is slightly more complex, and we will, in this example, have a look at all of our different neighbourhood agents who walk within this paid mezzanine area of the concourse. In order to do that, we will use the following modifiers. We will say that we want to have a look at multiple options. These can be combined in many different ways, and the agent filter system is quite powerful. To start off with, we will say any agent who has entered the simulation at our collection of neighbourhood entry portals that we've used previously. This will say that for every agent who has entered the simulation within these neighbourhood portals, these will now be triggered as shown in this filter. We will also say any agent who is ever in the area of this floor. Now this can be a single floor, or it can be a zone or collection of floors. For now, let's just make sure that this is saved, and we will come back to this later. Looking at our simulation run, we can now filter the run that we have to only show the people who are triggered by this filter. Moving down to our simulation runs, we see the default simulation run. Opening this up, we see that we can apply an agent filter within the overall population. We can say that for everyone in this scene, we can say highlight yellow all of the people that apply to our named filter, which we've just created, which is our agent filter here. If we refresh the scene, we will now see that everyone in yellow has come from our neighbourhood portals and is also at some point headed in here. This can be quite useful to track where agents have come from and gone to, and also allows us to hide previous agents. Leaving that aside, there are several other things we can do with agent filters and the broader population more generally. We can create various types of maps. These include standard pedestrian level of service maps, and also things such as the path map. In order to have a look at just our population that we've decided that we want to have a look at, we can use the same filter and have a look at all the people coming from our neighbourhoods and moving through the train station. In order to do this, we can set a specified time at which we would like this to occur. Let's say starting from 15 minutes and with a duration of 5 minutes, just so this can run quickly. We also need to select which surfaces have been selected. Let's select the whole scene. Evaluating this will take a short amount of time and will allow us to see quite a quick visual representation of where agents have come through. This will sometimes be helpful in quite complex pieces of geometry to see where the routes that agents have taken and where they've ended up within certain areas. Looking at the results of our agent path map, we can see highlighted in yellow, which is the colour that we've selected up here, all of the different paths that separate neighbourhood agents have taken to move within the concourse, as shown by our filter. Moving away from this, we can see that there are several other types of maps, such as counts of agents on separate floors, paths, various level of service maps, and other cost and distance metrics which can be useful for debugging. There are also various different tables that we can use our filters and other forms of analysis to investigate the model in detail. To start off with, as a brief example, we'll have a look at the agent summary. This gives us some brief overview information about any subset of the agents within our scene. Let's use, again, our named filter and see for all of our neighborhood portals we can see their agent ID, which allows us to pinpoint their position as previously shown. We can see their entrance and where they finished, the start time and end time of the simulation, and how far they've travelled through the scene. In order to look at these in more detail, we can also create a histogram by right-clicking and selecting the histogram option, which allows us to look at these in more detail. Note that both the histograms and the summaries themselves can be exported as either a CSV file for use in packages such as Microsoft Excel, or as an image to be produced in reports. Leaving that aside, there is one other key type of analysis that we can use, such as the graph functionality. These can be used to generate all sorts of graphs, such as flow rates across stairs or through other pieces of geometry, and population counts over time. Let's have a look at the population count graph, and what we'll be interested in is how the population changes on our main platform over time. So selecting our platform geometry, we can create a group that we want to have a look at and select our area of the platform. Generating this allows us to see the total population over time. Now it's worth noting that if we'd like to see something else such as the mezzanine level, we can also add this as a separate group. MassMotion allows us to use several different types of visualization to have a look at this analysis, such as curved, stacked areas to see the difference between things, and bar charts. As with the summary tables, these can be exported as either CSV files, so we can manipulate the data further, or as image files. In terms of image files, our axes and bin size can all be edited using this Style tab here. Our final way to interrogate what's going on within our scene is the agent trip, which will be shown shortly. We can also have a look at agent trips, which allow us to chain together various different parts of a journey and have a look at that in detail, such as if we are interested in any agents who have entered this particular gate line, moved along the mezzanine, and then chosen a particular stair. This can be a trip that can then be analysed using a map or a summary table. These take significant time to run, so we'll just show how these can be set up. There's flexibility in terms of entering the first item and exiting the last. These can also be changed to entering the last, such as time taken to clear platforms or enter a stair, and also the time taken to move through whole neighbourhood zones. These can be moved around, and then trips can be used in summary tables and other tables, like below. If we say an agent filter for all agents that are ever within the existing trip, and then our trip that we've created, we can then see any agents who have undertaken the movements shown. The final three pieces of analysis that we can look at are used to export results into several other files. The agent positions export will give a full list of all of the XYZ coordinates for each agent over time. This can be used in several other programs for animation or other further analysis, such as Rhino. We also have an alembic system. This will produce the agent walk cycles and animations that can be then read in by various other programs such as 3D Studio Max or Softimage. This will allow us to tailor a certain time range, and also we could use our potential filter. This is particularly useful for large data sets, such that if we only want our set filter, we can only export that type of people. We can also create movies and images using this button. This allows us to create a small instance of the simulation, which we can then use to create several different resolutions or a custom resolution, such as certain letterbox formats or others. We can also use this to create movie files, which allow us to show animated agent movement. We can do this by selecting a certain quality, setting our test movie format, there are several supported, and also our timing and appearance, such as our text overlays and also our background colors. We can also include certain other metrics that help identify what's going on in this scene, such as the simulation time, which will be shown in the bottom left, our population, and also where we are relative to the X, Y, and Z coordinates. If we are showing a map in a screenshot or movie, we can also select the map legend to be shown in the upper left corner. This concludes a brief overview of the different parts of analysis that can be conducted within the MassMotion runtime. If you would like any more information, please check the user documentation. Thank you.